Hi everyone, I'm Petty Hop Guy, and today's video is all about the Dice of Dungeons & Dragons. So if you're just starting to play D&D, then you've probably not heard of some of the 7 different dice that the game uses. And it can be even harder to remember what dice to roll when during the game. So in this video, I'm going to share with you each of the different dice that are used in Dungeons & Dragons and what they are most commonly rolled for. This is the D20, or the 20-sided die, and it is what Dungeons & Dragons revolves around. This die is used to roll most everything you do in the game. Everything from actions, to attacks, to saving throws. So to break some of those down for you, let's say for example, your Dungeon Master calls to roll for initiative. Well, you roll a 20-sided die, and then you add your initiative modifier to that roll, and that determines how fast you are able to react to the combat happening around you, and that everybody's rolls determine the roll order for that combat encounter. When you're rolling to attack during combat, you roll a d20, and then you add either your weapon attack modifier or your spell attack modifier, depending on if you're using a weapon or a spell, and that number that you get from that roll determines if you hit or miss your target. If you want to sneak into the enemy camp, then you roll a d20, and your Dungeon Master would probably ask you for a stealth check, which means you would add your stealth modifier to this roll. Now when you are rolling for a skill check or a saving throw, there's a number you have to beat, and that number is called a DC. So let's say, for example, sneaking into the enemy camp. They have one guard, he's a bit sleepy, so the DC is 10. Pretty easy. So you roll a d20, you get 9, and then your modifier is +2, so that would be 11. So you beat the DC, and which means you're probably going to be successful sneaking into that camp. But the specifics of the outcome of that roll are interpreted by your Dungeon Master, and he'll usually explain what happens as you sneak into the camp. Lastly, if you are in a desperate situation and you're trying to avoid a crumbling wall of stone, or you're trying to dodge a dragon's breath attack, then you will roll what is called a saving throw. And if you're proficient in the saving throw you're rolling, then you can add a saving throw modifier. Otherwise, it's a straight d20. The next 5 die all have to do with either attack damage or the amount of hit points you're able to heal with a spell or a potion. And they are also in conjunction with either the type of weapon you're using or the type of spell you're casting. So we have the D4, which is a 4-sided die, and it looks like this pyramid. There is the D6, which is a 6-sided die, and this is a die that most people are familiar with. There is the D8, which has 8 sides, and it looks like a diamond. There is the D10, which looks like a slightly bigger diamond. And there is the D12. Now, again, you'll roll these die in conjunction with damage rolls, or when you are using a potion or a spell to heal somebody. And sometimes there's a number in front of the type of die, and that tells you how many of that die you roll to deal damage or to heal. So say for example, a great sword says it deals 2d6 slashing damage. You would roll 2 6-sided die to determine how much damage you do with that sword. Finally, there is the percentile die, and it looks like a d10. But you'll notice that the numbers have a value of 10. There's 2 numbers on each side. And this die is rolled to determine a percentage out of 100. And you'll roll it in conjunction with a d10. So if you roll 2 zeros on the percentile die and 1 0 on the 10-sided die, then that is equal to 100. If you roll 2 zeros on the percentile die and any other number on the regular 10-sided die, then that is a value of 1 to 9. If you roll a different number on the percentile, say the 6 and 60, then that gives you the 10's value, and then the number on the 10-sided die determines what number within that 10's value you get. So if you roll a 60 and a 4, that is 64. Now rolling out of 100 is pretty rare. It doesn't happen very often. And when it does, it usually involves some kind of table that the Dungeon Master has behind their DM screen. And whether it's a fumble chart or a table determining what treasure you find, It always leads to something interesting. Lastly, the thing to remember when you're rolling your dice is to add your modifiers. And your modifiers are either going to be a number with a plus sign or a minus sign in front of them, and this includes your ability score modifiers, your attack and spell attack modifiers, and any skill modifiers you have. If you have any questions about how to find the modifiers for your character, you can check out my first character video, and that'll tell you exactly how to find your ability scores starting at level 1 and how to determine what those are. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video and you gained some value from it, please hit the like button and share it with a friend. If you like the content I'm creating, hit that subscription button and hit the bell so you get notifications about my channel. Until next time, this is Patty Cab Guy, signing off.